Welcome everyone to our Wisdom of the Heart video series. And let me introduce first our beautiful guest who is joining us from Santa Fe, New Mexico. So welcome, Barbara Conroy. It's such an honor to have you with us today.
I'm delighted to be here.
Yes, it's wonderful that you could join. And so today we're going to look at a topic that Barbara has chosen. It's in the 40 Days and the 40 Nights, and it's day 28, from externally to internally directed life experience. So I'm going to go ahead and sort of kind of turn it over to Barbara. If you want to maybe, share a couple lines or something just to get us started, and then we'll expand from there.
Sure. I'm on the last part of 28:17 and the first part of 18. This is what now must change, and it expands that above it. And as can be seen, this change is essential to changing the world. And I'm interested in changing the world. So this transformation can only take place within time, because only within time is the experience of separation possible. And experience is where the power of transformation lies. And that was so interesting to me because in a personal way, I have lived a life that was governed by ordinary time and a lot of externally determined conditions where I worked and I lived my life, and it never occurred to me there was an outside of time. But here it talks about, and he goes, the imaging is so beautiful to me, because going up the mountain is going beyond the level ground, and it is bringing in the outside of time. And in order to make the transformation that they talk about here, it's really what has to happen is the universe, the bringing together of time and outside of time. With, and to experience them together.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm seeing the connection of time in relation to my life and my experience with love. And
beautiful.
Absolutely. Because I've had a wonderful life in terms of my work has always been something I loved, but it was always governed by time. My relationships are something that I really cherish, but it's governed by time. And so the time drew me into this, and the more I got into this, I found the aspect of wholeness, which brings together the variability of that can be from separation and the unity that comes from being outside of time. And so it just captured my heart. And
I love that. And I think that, for me too, that's, it's been my journey too. And I feel like for many of us, the way we grew up, I'm a different generation than you are, but I think a lot of us have, been pointed to this externally directed life. And I think that's what, this major energy shift that's actually coming in, that's being experienced right now in many circles, on the planet, is a movement to the internally directed life. And, it's really starting to land with me too. And I'm trying, like, for me, it's more about just being here now, it's like enjoying that now moment. and I'm not working right now, but I was able to do some of that in my nursing career. There was a lot of externally directed, like task-oriented things too, but I was able to start feeling some time outside of time also, working with patients, especially people who were dying, and to be able to see how this wholeness of the experience can come together in this moment of love and compassion and beauty, just in this moment, even with someone who is on their deathbed or whatever. And so I would say it really landed with me in maybe the last third of my nursing career. But yeah, I get that. And, you know, I'm thinking like maybe, like practically speaking, do you have any examples, like maybe how you're doing this right now, other than, you know, what we're doing right now, which is a dialogue where we're bringing in the unknown into the known, and we're making discoveries?
Well, it's I have had a long life. I'm 86. And so I achieved independence very early because of my life situation then. I'm a single child, and my father took his life, and my mother couldn't cope. And so I ended up being very independent.
Oh, okay.
And my independence has given me a rather strong ego. And it's given me the kind of sense of I create my own life, which is an advantage actually, because I see myself as a co-creator with God of my life. I've never had that sense that it was only given to me, or I was told what to do, or what was right and what was wrong, and that kind of thing. So I really have a strong sense of the independence, and I'm now seeing that may not be serving me so well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I became an entrepreneur in my early 30s. I had 3 careers, and so I've always directed it. I've been, quote, inner directed, but I've always done it with groups of people, except for a time I dropped out and went and lived on a mountain. And there I found the outside of time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so the image that's portrayed here is really very powerful for me and has helped. But I have come to the Course of Love in order to make a new path. And the new path, to look at what does that take? I have a pragmatism that's pretty strong too. So the pragmatism says, these are the steps I would go through to do that. But it really needs, even that spark needs to come from inner,
Yes.
which is the knowing.
Great point, yeah.
And so
Internally directed, yeah.
Yeah. And so it turns internal in a different way. And I'm really appreciating what I have read about the Course, and I'm now reading the Course, and I'm in a study group. So that's been very helpful.
Yeah, I was thinking like this, it's, for me, it's like, this is really, I know you and I have talked about Mari's new book, Mirari, The Way of the Marys, and she really expands on this time outside of time and experiencing time simultaneously, and about how we anchor in. It's like the new wholeness. It says here earlier, I believe it says that the new reality of wholeness, it's not the wholeness that's new.
It's the reality.
It's the reality of the wholeness that's new.
Yes.
And so that, to me, is what this whole new Christ consciousness is. It's the, it's bringing that wholeness into our experience. It's almost like, I keep going back to that Bible phrase where it says, in the world, but not of it, and So, I was thinking like even going all the way back to A Course in Miracles, you know how like this is talking a lot about the time outside of time and the now moment and be here now. And even Eckhart Tolle was big on that. He brought the power of the now, and which is acceptance of what is, which is also huge in A Course of Love. But even going all the way back to the 60s, before Eckhart Tolle and before A Course of Love, and before even Ram Dass started speaking about it, there's a line in A Course of Love, Course in Miracles, that says that now is the closest approximation of eternity that this world has to offer. And it says, for only now is here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that was even brought up in A Course in Miracles, back in the 60s when, Helen Schucman. And so I just really think that it's just the time of the ages, or like this says in paragraph 22, it's to move to internally directed experience is to make the move into wholeness that will cause the shift of the ages. And then it says the experience of variability within wholeness. And to me, that's the key to be able to be here now and to anchor in the wholeness within this experience that we're having. And it's really, it's like I'm trying to think like something practical here we can offer, like people hearing this maybe for the first time. It's like, how do we do this? And, for me, maybe it's, I do meditate, I go out in nature and I hike, and I do yoga and breath work. And it's anything for me that grounds me, helps bring me into that present moment, and where the mountaintop is integrated, with the valleys of level ground. And that's the whole thing, bringing the variability within wholeness.
The idea of the variability of separation, which I've operated on for a long time, making discernment and taking choices that were not only feasible, but strategic perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole criteria was different
Mm-hmm.
than I want it to be now.
Yeah.
And actually, the variability and the variability and then the wholeness, it has to be accepted as well as worked on, I think.
Okay.
To bring it in to the inner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. It has to be accepted. Yeah, that's beautiful. Acceptance of what is in the here and now. Yeah. That's a big thing that's talked about in the Course of Love, acceptance of what is. Whatever is arising in the experience, not pushing any of it away. And that includes all our feelings and having a relationship with all the feelings. And it's really, it's also, I think that's paramount too, is I think it says somewhere in here, yeah, it's about the giver and receiver. Like what's really paramount is like in the old thought patterns, as we were talking about earlier, how we've been focused on the externally directed experience. Those are the old thought patterns. But it says that even this idea of giver and receiving being two things, that coming into that realization that giving and receiving is one. It's a continuous flow from God to us.
That influences our choices every day.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good point.
Happens. You were looking at something practical. It's every day the choices one makes. And when one is at work, when one is at work, it may be influenced more strongly toward the external, but then a person goes home and maybe it's the reverse of that on the internal. But how can we make it so that the internal is always there? Well, one way to do it is to bring a spiritual consciousness into our work. Gibran says, love is work made visible. And I've always done my work with that in mind, and that as a
Oh,
as a precept, kind of, because it's so important to think of, um, certainly at the mission level of work.
mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying job, but the work in the world that we do could be civic, it could be community, it could be, whatever.
Like we're
And
doing right now.
yeah, what we're
I
doing
love
right
that.
now.
That was Kahil Gibran, and it was, say that again. What was the quote?
Work is love
Love.
made visible.
Oh, beautiful. Work
Yeah,
is
and
love
that,
made
yeah,
visible.
it's been so important to me.
I love that. That's a beautiful phrase. Work is love made visible. Yeah, and and that involves the relationship. I don't think we can have that variability within wholeness without that relationship. As the Course of Love speaks, it's unity and relationship. And so I think that's part of it too, is the variability within wholeness, is that relationship
Mhm.
with everything. And not only to just know it like intellectually, but to experience it.
Know it, to
Yeah,
know
to know it, to internally know it. That's it.
it.
That's the anchoring in, to internally know it. Yeah, wow. Okay. So did you want to say something? I know you had mentioned something. There's that beautiful paragraph at the end about,
Oh,
well, it's
oh,
actually the
yeah.
last two
Yeah.
paragraphs. You said you had wanted to mention that about following a thread, and now we can see the whole tapestry. Did you want to bring something up on that you had mentioned earlier?
Metaphors are very close to my heart.
Oh yeah, me too.
Number one, I can remember them. So he's talking about, at the end, the last couple sentences, he's talking about bringing two threads together.
Mhm.
One is the thread of what you have been already, what you're imbued with now, and the other is unity.
Mhm.
And the way to bring those together makes a tapestry, and it's unique to you.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's nobody else has one that looks like that. And just by chance, and it is totally just by chance, a friend did this weaving for me.
Oh, beautiful.
And you see, I see this
Mhm.
as where I'm going, and then this is where I've been.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
It was
That's
just
so pretty.
yeah, it's always in my chair. So I picked it up one day and I said, "Oh, that's what this is."
And yeah, and that's
That's
that
one of the
whole,
main things I want to really build in my new path.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Is that experience of
Of wholeness.
the thread and the tapestry is,
Well, the experience, the knowledge, the knowing
okay.
of the importance of wholeness and what it embraces.
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
so important, and
Mhm.
it comes through unity. And so to do that, I really need to be attentive to my relationships, particularly, as well as my experience of spirituality and the
Mhm.
Course. So I'm
Yeah.
very, very appreciative of having discovered
Yeah.
the Course.
Yeah, it's just a whole energy of just connection and expansiveness, and it's vast, it's expansive and vast, but then it also becomes very intimate because you're feeling it, it's the Sacred Heart. We're feeling it, and that feeling realm is so important in all of this, is to be able to feel it, not just to know everything, yeah, intellectually. And yeah, so
It also speaks to me of the spaciousness of the self, with
oh,
the
okay.
self being capitalized.
Oh yeah, the capital S self. Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole spaciousness of the self. Yeah,
So
exactly.
this one day brought to me a unification of a lot of things that I just read in pieces up till now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, great. Day 28. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, well, yeah, thank you for sharing all that, Barbara. It's really such a joy to be with you, and I love your beautiful purple Easter lilies. They just
We do this
they
exactly.
match your purple shirt, and you're just in that that glow of Easter, the resurrection, you know, it's like the energy of Easter. It's just so beautiful. You're sitting there, the sun is shining and you look so beautiful. So I just wanted to see if you had any last minute thoughts that you wanted to offer before we close.
Oh, the meaningfulness of the supportive feeling, people who have come to me. And I'm trying to build in more of the dialogue kind of experiences than ordinary life brings. So I'm trying to maybe get a smaller study group where we can, if not meet in groups, we can sit outside with masks and talk. I'm looking forward to having more opportunity to engage with people.
Yeah, engage in dialogue, and then, yeah, eventually expand even to maybe entering the dialogue. Yeah, that's beautiful because relationship is so paramount. So yeah, that's my journey too. And so thank you so much. And I think that's probably what we'll wrap it up for right now. So thank you to all our viewers for joining us. And again, thank you, Barbara. It's such an honor to have you. And yeah, next time we'll have another guest and another topic. So thank you, everyone. Peace, blessings, and love to everybody.